think we are live now. Let me have a look. YouTube. Right, yeah, we're live. So, right, this live. I'll wait for you to come in first. I'm first. Welcome in, Louise. Welcome in. Let me just go on the TikTok a sec. So this is going to be about is David Icke right? I'm going to play some videos where things just seem to be repeated out of other people's mouths. So, right, this live. I'll wait for you to come in first. Pop out that chat. So let me just get the chat up here. So I've got it. For some reason, I couldn't do it with the scheduled one, which really annoyed me. So I'll have to do it this way. Is this working? The chat working? It's not going good, this, is it? It's going to fuck up. Can you hear me? I can see you on the piece on the mobile phone. Might have to comment through the mobile phone. Yeah, right, okay, you can hear me, that's all that matters. Right, so we're going to crack on, and what I'll do is I'll start playing this now for you. So we're going to go off with David Icke first. We're going to start with David Icke and what some of the things that he said, then we're going to crack on with something else, so let's get to this bit here.
In our reality are drinking the blood because of energy before puberty. To me, by Satanists who've taken part in these rituals, how while the entities are feeding off the energetic level of the terror, that the Satanists in our reality are drinking the blood because this adrenaline gives them a kind of a high. It's like a drug to them because they're very, very disturbed people. So you start to realize.
Is this from children? Is this where the adrenochrome is coming from?
Well, it comes from anybody that goes through that terror. But the reason that they have such a focus on children, which I came across a long time ago now, is because for some reason, these entities want a child's energy before puberty. So
bear in mind, when I've said it over the years because I've done a lot of research into this. So before the age of 7 years old is the perfect age they like to get these children, right? For whatever reason, I think it's something with the brain. The brain develops after 7, 14 develops again, 21 develops again. Like you go back, I'm nearly 40. I'm not the same person I was when I was 30. I'm not the same person I was when I was 20. My brain's totally changed. I don't remember that person. Do you know what I mean? He was called an absolute nutcase for saying this about the adrenochrome and stuff, and I'm going to show you a few videos, and you're going to start seeing, holy shit, maybe he isn't crazy, and maybe he was right all along. My thumbnail is not fucking clickbait. I always deliver on my thumbnail.
When you look at puberty, it appears to be a chemical hormonal change, but that chemical hormonal change is an expression of an energetic frequency change that's taking place in their energetic field. And they want that energy before that change takes place. It's something they crave for some reason.
And they is astral entities. If we can't use the term they, what if there had to be a label outside of they? Is the label astral entities, and is there any way to be more specific than that?
What is up? I want to first of all thank you for being here, and secondly announce we are doing a giveaway
theme throughout religions and ancient cultures. It's this, that this world is manipulated by a force, entities, from in the unseen, and they're given different names. And the Gnostic belief system calls them archons, which is Greek for rulers. And they talk.
Kyle told me he was on with thingy. Kyle messaged me every single day, so I know everything about but I should have been invited to that chat.
Talk about an entity that oversees those archons, rulers, which they call Yaldabaoth. Also, they call it the demiurge. And then you look at other, but take religions. You look at the demons of Christianity and the.
This is just a shortish one, like another 4 minutes left of this, and then we'll go on to the next one, which is Jim Caviezel. Then we've got Michael Herrera, then we've got the Jake Barber stuff, and we've got 2 Jim Caviezel ones.
The Satan devil symbolism. Then you look at Islam and you see the jinn. All these are entities that operate outside of the visible light frequency. You know, the specificity of they, it's coming from this astral force, these astral entities.
Yeah, he was definitely ahead of his time.
There are representatives. This global cult represents and seeks.
Answer this quick question in the comments. Why is he still alive? Why is he allowed to say this when we think that? This is one thing. If you was to put big money on being real in the conspiracy world, it's this.
To advance the agenda dictated by these astral entities. That's where you get the interaction in Satanism and what have you. And these a lot of these people, not least the royal families, but many others too, are hybrids. They're part human, part non-human, and they have joint energetic fields. And most of the time, the energetic field that you see is the human field, obviously. But what I've been told many times over the years by people who've taken part in these rituals is that when they're among, if you like, friends, when they're among safe people in a safe situation, they shift into something else, which is absolutely not human. And I've been told now since, the mid-1990s, over many times in different parts of the world, how people have sometimes seen this shift take place. It's called shapeshifting. So these people are not all human. In fact, the major bloodline families are not. And this is where you get royalty from. Why our royalty tried to, and aristocracy tried to retain a particular frequency, a particular bloodline, which is the frequency field in its base form. It's because they're different. And if you interbreed outside of that hybrid nature, then it soon starts to get diluted. And this is why you've had this whole process over the centuries of royalty interbreeding with each other, aristocracy breeding with each other, and why you get the so-called Eastern establishment families in the United States interbreeding with each other. It's to hold.
Yeah, the social media is bigger now, and I guess more people are speaking about it, so it's a bit more protection. But he's been speaking about this late 80s, early 90s. He was on Terry Wogan, so they've had lots of opportunities to take this one out, 100%.
This particular bloodline, this particular genetic type, and that genetic type seems to like human blood.
Honestly, I'm only going to show you. It's going to be about an hour's live, and it's going to show you a pattern of things from in the past until to now, and we're missing it, and people aren't seeing the connection. This is why it's connected to the UFOs, and you'll see in a minute.
and particularly if it's infused with adrenochrome. So that's one level of it. But also, as has been explained to me, this adrenochrome is literally like a drug. Once you get hooked on it, you get hooked on it, and you want more.
And they have to terrify him.
And so that's one of the reasons that they do it. But the foundation reason for the rituals is to feed the energy of terror to the entities in the astral realm, that overlook and oversee the ritual. And these rituals are not, every now and again.
So it sounds like they terrify these children, and then so the humans are overlooking this, terrifying these children, and the feeding is to feed something, another entity, another dimension that we probably can't even see. But for they have these ritual spells, these all sorts of occults have these spells and rituals where they can summon these things. It's been spoken about for fucking centuries.
Yeah, they're happening all the time, and this.
And they probably think they're untouchable. I would think I'm untouchable if I was connecting with something that's far superior to human beings, and I was at their service, and they was giving me what I wanted and stuff like that. I'd never do it, by the way, but you could understand why some sick B-words would, why they'd think, yeah, give us everything. And we're seeing it on the planet now. We're seeing loads of things happening. They're getting caught, they're getting arrested, they're getting put in prison because of it.
This satanic calendar, as they call it, which includes Beltane, Halloween, and many others, is real, and they follow it.
Hello, Stephen, Truth Seeker. Welcome in, pal. People that are watching is 101 in the live at the minute. So if you're new to the channel, please drop a subscription. If not, drop a troll comment. Now, Either way, it works for me. Engagement is key. Right, so that was the first video I wanted to show you. So now the one I want to show you now is this one. This is Jim Caviezel about the Sound of Freedom film. So he did a film a couple of years back now, The Sound of Freedom, about these children that went missing. But this is something that he went on about here, which totally went off track.
But he's down there saving children as we speak, because they're pulling kids out of the darkest recesses of hell right now, and dumbs and all kinds of places. The adrenochroming of children. Look, where we're at right now. Hopefully, we need your prayers. This film is, when Tim Ballard came down to Bogota and we had about finished 2/3 of it, I said, "Why did you pick me?" And he said, "Well, they didn't want you. They wanted someone else." But I said, "Well, I got to tell you, I did this movie, Monte Cristo and The Passion, and about 2/3 of the way through, I knew we were onto something that was phenomenal." And I said, "I feel that with this film." And he goes, "Well, actually, it was those two films that I saw. This is why I had to have you in this." So
I'll just pause it to answer the comments a sec. All right, pal. All right, Rusty Samo, how we doing, pal? Please drop a thumbs up. Thank you, Highlander. I appreciate that. Jesus is King. I would say so as well. I'm not a religious person, but I will go with that. I'm looking to make first contacts, but we'll need help. Reach out. Whatever you need, we'll help. If you think you can do it, we'll help you with it.
I film. So, sorry.
No, Jim, you said a word a minute ago, and I want to clarify what that word was.
Listen to this.
You said a word, and I want to make sure that you said adrenochrome.
Yeah.
And a lot of people here, there's about 4,500 people here. There's about 500,000 people streaming online. We're having some cyber attacks. That feed's been going on and off. But you said that word, and by a show of hands, who's heard that word before in this building? Could you please explain, to the extent that you want to or not want to, what that is? Because some people have never heard that before, and we need to discuss that.
Essentially, you have adrenaline in your body. I'll just simplify it. And when you are scared, you produce adrenaline. If you're an athlete, you get in the fourth quarter, you have adrenaline that comes out of you. If a child knows he's going to die, his body will secrete this adrenaline, and they have a lot of terms that they use that he takes me through. But it's the worst horror I've ever seen, is screaming alone, even if I never, ever saw it. It's beyond, and these people that do it, there'll be no mercy for them. This is one of the best films I've ever done in my life.
That was the second video I wanted to show you. So he's talking about, again, the second person. This is an actor. This isn't a conspiracy theorist. This is someone who's an actor, did The Passion of Christ or whatever it was. He's done The Sound of Freedom. He's done many films. And he's speaking about adrenochrome. He's speaking about them being terrified to the point where it secretes in that they have to terrify these children. Right? It's repeated time and time again over the generations. When I first came across adrenochrome, I was 15 years old. That was the age I was. I'm 39 years old. When I was 18, 19, still balls deep into this subject, I was cutting away from the reptilian stuff. I was cutting away from the adrenochrome. I thought, it's an interesting thing when you've had a bit of Jamaican woodbine and you're in the kitchen talking to your friends, but is there any truth to it? You have to sit on that, and what happens is then it comes out in other people's mouths, and that's when you have to take it serious. And that's why we're in Congress hearings, and Congress hearings are mentioning some of this stuff, and you're thinking, holy shit, the stuff that I threw away pieces of puzzle back then, I'm bringing back to the table because there's a connection to it. So we're going to play this part here. This is just, I'm not going to play all this part.
These kids are trafficked up front for the demand to the United States. Do you also think that inside the U.S.
100%. All the three-letter agencies are all involved. Absolutely. I'm not saying all of the people are, but the ones that are the most powerful, they're protecting. They're protecting this information from getting out.
You mean...
And it says Ukraine there. You've got to pay attention to these war-torn countries. That's where they take them from primarily. They put them on these buses. I did a video on TikTok. It went viral. People was saying, what you want about these buses?
CIA, DNI,
all of them, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why would they not be?
Well, let me just say, like, Fast and Furious, and you heard about that. I said, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. And then you go, wow, why does the cartel?
This is the gun running operation.
Yeah, but why does MS-13 have the most advanced guns? Why do we at Sinaloa gangs have all? How come 110,000 people died or disappeared in Mexico City? Where did they go? And they're starting pulling people out of body bags now. This is just...
They've got a real bad habit when there's war, like in Ukraine and stuff like that. They say, give us your children, we'll protect your children. Those parents end up getting killed. The children end up getting lost in the spiral of all this bullshit. Never seen again. Nobody there to reach out. Nobody there. They're lost. I'm not a massive President Trump fan, right? I'll be honest with you. I like some of his things. He's pissed me off with what he said about the British troops, even though he's apologised today. He went straight after these trafficking operations. Biden did not find these children. I think he found 350,000 children, something like that. I might be wrong, but it was close to that number, and they're looking for more children. They're going after the Venezuelan boats, all these traffickers. They seem to be cutting off the funding which funds these black op projects. Is that a coincidence? The trafficking, the weapons, is that a coincidence that Trump's attacking this? I don't think it is. I really don't think it is.
It's insane. With our military, our special forces, and we don't take care of this. Like I said to you earlier, Tim has got, for one traffic guy like Tim Ballard, you've got 5 guys that go after the cartel. They're just completely outnumbered.
On drugs.
Correct. Yes, on the drugs.
And we know now the human trafficking...
I think this is I think it's far bigger than that now. Well, I mean, we were talking about 2 million children. And he goes,
Welcome back, Kyle.
Monetize these kids every day.
That's correct. And then he started going into 2 million other children. Now, this is other agents.
Just an update. Me and Kyle might be going live tomorrow if we can sort it out, going through some of the Russian documents. We can't go through it all because he's got something planned with Ross Coulthard. But we can give you a preview. We can go through it little bits at a time, stuff like that. So hopefully we can do that tomorrow. I don't think we're going to be able to do it tonight. But me and Kyle will chat so we can work out how to get him on OBS, and we'll go through these. So if you want to go through these Russian documents, which are like a fucking brain melt, then we'll do that tomorrow night.
That I'm speaking to too. And then the 2 other million are in the organ harvesting, and it's just like 2 million this year, 2 million, and they just use them up, and then they pass them off into organ harvesting programs.
Talk to me about we'll get to that in a second. Talk to me about the demand. If it's so organized on the trafficking of these children, in for either sex or and eventually organ harvesting, you can't just have that demand unless somehow that's organized also.
100%. I believe. Okay, so the agents that I've spoken to.
So I know some of you are probably thinking this has got nothing to do with UFOs. It will do, and we'll get to that in the last 2 videos that I will show you.
All right, here's the deal. It's for a barrel of oil, $77. for a barrel of body parts and what's going to be adrenochrome, all the plumes that are in the woman's mother's wombs, that goes into a plastic barrel. That's $77,000. Now that gets sent into these.
Who's blacklisted in Hollywood?
Biolabs.
So for pausing, people do say there's plates on that, but this is alive. It's engaging. I like to engage with the chat. This, your voice is yours is important.
Barrel oil,
$77. $77,000 for a barrel of body parts of children, blood, all of that goes to these biolabs. And then now go to Victoria Nuland's testimony.
The biolabs, you're talking about the biolabs in Ukraine.
Correct.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological?
So I've done research, so I'm going to break this down. I don't show this in here, but my research will tell you. So these labs that want to do these experiments, they're not going to go out them. They're shirt and collar guys. These are smart individuals. They ain't going to go and do the dirty work. They pay these cartels to go and get these human beings, right, in any form they need them. They will pay them good money to do the dirty work. The people that are doing all the experiments, they'll never get caught. Although the net is probably closing in on them. But for decades they've not been caught, and that's because they've been using the cartel people to just do whatever they fucking want and letting them off as well.
Weapons.
Ukraine has biological research facilities, which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
So you're totally right. Adrenochrome is no joke, and people think it's bullshit and it's fake. It's not. It's a real thing. The argument is, what does adrenochrome actually do? Well, it's an offset from adrenaline, and apparently the only way it secretes in your body is if you are terrified, you're in that fight or flight mode. And this is used in another interview in a minute, which I'm going to go into, which is for a totally different purpose, which really plays with my head on, are they covering it up for this? Are they using that for that? Or is it for both?
Now and wherever else those places are. So yes,
walk through the supply chain of the supply into the biolabs. What do they take?
As far as I can't give you the molecular structure. I can give you.
What's the input of the body parts?
Everything, all the waste, all the body waste, all of that. That's what they told me.
Which has the stimulant in it.
Yes, that's one way of getting it. It's probably not the ultimate way, but it's probably a Diet Coke.
Who's organizing that?
I would have to say definitely that has to be in the three-letter agencies.
So your contention and what you want I
do apologise though, this is probably a little bit disturbing for some people, and I get it, but people need to understand this is happening. This world is not all roses. It is full of hideous, horrible people, and as much as I will always try and keep my channel happy and full of fucking roses, there are going to be some dark times on this, and this is one of the dark things, and this is the one that I will 100%, I would put my mortgage on, I put my fucking life savings on being true. And when it comes out, how would the world react to it? Because you've been ignorant to it, not you, because you sat here watching this, so you're open-minded at least. But there'll be people that have seen this and go, oh, bullshit. And then, oh, he's talking about fucking this. He's talking about adrenochrome. It's bullshit. And they're the people that are going to get the smack in the face. And they're the people that are going to fucking shit themselves the first and close the curtains and run.
I'm saying this. You say there's smoke, there's fire. Okay, so if I say to a media person, 2 + what = 5, and I say 3, and the media will immediately say, how do you know? Did you see a 3? That's what it's like. If you go to Vegas and you win 1,000 hands in a row in blackjack, do you think there's cheating going on?
At the level of $152 billion a year.
Yes.
Right, this has to be making money for a lot of people, and that cash has to be flowing through. Your contention is it is impossible to have demand at that side and have supply.
That's correct.
And not have some sort of organization.
Yes.
This can't be a random.
No. But the whole thing, just the thing with Miss Rodas, she comes out and makes this testimony, this claim.
Just that our audience up to speed.
Well, she said that 85,000 children have disappeared, and she's a whistleblower.
85,000 of the.
Bear in mind, this is just an actor, right? He's not even like into all the conspiracy stuff. He's learnt this doing the Sound of Freedom film.
Kids are coming across.
That's cracked this last year.
And you would think that they would be pretty good.
The next day,
they can track anybody anywhere.
Right? Steve, the next day, the media didn't even pick it up. It's not even worthless. It's worthless to him. That's worth.
Do you know what you're hearing here? You're hearing an actor with a big wake-up call trying to wake up people up. He's seen right through and like, why is no one fucking talking about this? I've been exposed to it. No one's talking about it. We're watching it in real time here of a man that's fucking trying to understand what he's been exposed to is not being spoken about.
Worthless information. And there's no, hey, my bad, Hunter Biden laptop. Oh, and by the way, there was a lot of suggestions that there was probably something more on that laptop than we want to go into. I mean, when you say laptop from hell,
on the perversion.
well, I got it from I got it from the best of the best, and they said there'll be adrenochrome there. Oh, by the way, on the street for all of those of you that don't know this, but it's called ambrosia.
Ambrosia is the street term.
That's a street term, yeah.
Thank you for the likes, guys. 176 people in. Thank you so much.
Drive from hell. When you get to the bottom of that, you'll also find, when you see all the perversion and degradation of Hunter Biden with these women, that you'll also find that. I'm trying to get you as much trouble.
If you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's Dead Man's Finger.
Is going to come after you. We're going to make it worth their while, right?
Well, I think that they know that. I think they know why those laptops disappeared in the cross testimony. Was that Crowley that did that?
Two straws together.
Was it?
Should have gone on Dragon's Den.
Was it
genius?
Christopher
Ray.
Was he the one that was being cross-examined? And they asked him where the maybe it wasn't him, but it was someone high up in the FBI, and they said, "Where are the laptops?" Oh, they've disappeared. I'd like to look at those laptops. I think you got to start looking at them.
Well, we can certainly get your hard drive.
Yeah.
Let's go back on the three-letter agencies.
Yeah.
Your contention is that they must know that these government agencies or other operators in these.
I've just realised I was muted. What I was going to say, and then the next two videos are with Michael Herrera and Jesse Michaels. They're the two next ones, but that takes it more into the UFO world then, and that's where UFOs around the world then starts to make sense on why he's talking about trafficking of the children, stuff like that. Thank you for pointing out in the comments. I meant it. I just wanted more engagement of you telling me that I was muted. I am a genius.
Supply side of getting the kids in here.
You have to understand. Yeah.
Also, hang on. Your also contention is that it is impossible. Rojas tells you 85,000 children are missing under our
disappeared.
Yeah. That we can't find. And since the government's so good about giving the EBIT cards and the phones and tracking everybody else, how could they possibly lose 85,000 children?
Yeah.
Your other contention is that the organization of this, both in the organ harvesting and in just the use of these children for sex objects, is so big
back in 2 seconds.
that it has to have some sort of organized effort.
That's correct.
And that effort, I take it in your belief, is more than organized crime or more than the people that are monetizing this. It has to have some element of the government. Is that your contention?
Yes, it's my contention. But my biggest thing here is why they were so against this film coming out. And when I saw this in front of the audience and they're not stupid. I mean, a lot of the public, they're very smart and they're very, and they understand more than me in a lot of ways. They connected the dot very quick. But when you sit down in the room and you actually go through this footage that I have absolutely seen with my own eyes, and I couldn't sleep for 2 years.
What footage was this?
It's pretty bad stuff. Just regular.
But what it was given?
No. I don't want. It's bad stuff. It's stuff that goes into and all of the trafficking and all of the stuff. Then I remember at one point he looked up to me and he said, "Are you sure you want to go any further?" And I said, "I didn't know." And I said, "Yeah." And I couldn't believe what I went into, and then so then I went and met at some point with Tim Ballard, and he started telling me about organ harvesting, and I just said, we got to do something. So in the film, the immediate first thing I did was there's a scene in there between me and the pedophile Ernst Blimpachinski, and what happens is that in the scene. This actual line is not in the film, but Alejandro Montevideo.
Is what you're hearing now, is this some of you hearing this for the first time? Because obviously this is a UFO channel. You might not come across this kind of stuff. Is it shocking to you? Have you known about this? Or is this totally new to you and it's like surprise to you?
Verity said, you know, you were talking about that line earlier. I said, yeah, go ahead and use it. So I go in, I tell the actor, I said, we're shooting French overs. So we're shooting simultaneously. So you get his reaction. And I said, look, we got the scene. It's amazing. Just play along with me on this. Hang on 1 second. So I said, we get to the end of the scene. I said, better a millstone be hung around your neck that you be capped.
I need to point out, Terry, that Oliver Castle crop circle was a fake, a hoax. I can show you the video of that if you want, how they make it. The actual guy that made that Oliver Castle crop circle.
Listen to this, see that you should ever hurt one of these little ones. And his immediate reaction was, I don't know what you're talking about. And I laughed so hard. But anyway, the reaction from the audience.
Yep, you're totally right. It was finished in 2013, and they couldn't get the rights. They couldn't get the rights to get it played anyway. Is that right? I think it took about 10 years for them to get the rights to play it or something.
This audience that it was about 60%. 60% of the audience in this place, not on the adrenochrome, but this one exploded, and the 40% were like, "What was that line? What is it from?" And they'd be like, "It's from the Bible."
The words of Christ.
This is the worst evil that I've ever seen.
Right. Now we're on this one, the Michael Herrera bit. So this one is from here. So we'll go from here. He came across military personnel, all in black, no badges, no nothing. They stopped him and his troops, threatened them. People go missing out here, basically threatened to kill them and stuff like that. They seen this UFO were getting loaded up with black vehicles. They assumed it was guns. They assumed it was drugs. It took off over the over the east or west coast of the United States. Can't remember. And then they found out at a later date that the people being put onto that UFO was humans, women and children primarily. So this is where it starts to fit into the UFO topic now. Perfect for trafficking, right? Fucking 0 point energy technology to move these around the planet. I found an article by an investigative journalist about Lucis with a lot of references of children and the priest. Sound of Freedom, a very hard watch, but a must. It will break your heart. Don't care how tough you think you are, especially if you've got children. And I've got 5 children. This is why it hits home to me. Anyone seen the ritual they did in Soldier Field, Chicago? No, I don't think I have. 1933, that's an interesting time period. Here are 3 first-hand whistleblowers who mention specific names of elites who are involved. Kathy O'Brien, Annette Lucas, and Bryce Taylor. Where's that from, Narina? Fretamir, what's that? Funny how he talks about the third world but ignores the European trafficking. He's got you. Well, Ukraine's a third world country at the minute. When you're losing 25, I think it's 25,000, is it a week or a month that Donald Trump said? They're going to be like, you just think of Hamas, Palestine, all these places, Iran. there'll be all sorts going on there, all sorts going on. He was given the wrong, especially in Africa as well. Africa is a big, and Indonesia, Africa and Indonesia. He was given, very eye-opening. Hello, greetings from Discord. How are you doing? How are y'all doing? The Fox Official, welcome in, pal. We're all good, pal. I've got a Discord, by the way. I will start putting it on my live so people can scan it. Can you get a scanning barcode so you can scan it? I need some moderators for my Discord as well. I want it more active. There's nearly 900 people in there. I want more active, and more content creators the better. You can share your content in there, but just be active. Listen, I don't mind you following each other to my channel. We're all good. We're all brothers here. Hopefully I'm going to speak to Polarity soon as well. I'm sure some of you follow Polarity. We are trying to sort out a thing. We're supposed to do it at Christmas time, but he's moved house, and he's just done a really fascinating interview with Eamon Hillman, by the way. So when you finish with this live, head over and watch his interview that he's done. I was going to cover it, but I'm hopefully going to speak to Eamon myself on my channel. But yeah, I've watched it. It's fucking fascinating. Eamon's just a weird guy. He reminds me of Rick Mail. If you know who Rick Mail is from Bottom, the way he is, his eyes.
I heard the commotion.
Ukraine is not the third world, mate. I didn't say it's the third world, right? Don't twist my words. What I said was, if it keeps going on the way it is, it's going to be a third world. When you're getting bombed to fuck, and you're losing 25,000 people, either it's for a week or a month, you're going to start turning into a third world country.
Yeah. How many?
If that was happening in the UK, 25,000 people a week. I'm sure it was a week, he said. But I said, I know it's not a third world country. What I was trying to get at was, if wars happen, if we can have a nuclear weapon in the UK, we're a third world country, right? We're worse than a third world country. There's too much going on in that country, Ukraine, that we're not being exposed. We don't even know about. And Trump keeps leaking that out by the looks of it, because we're not getting told that these amount of people. It's insane the amount of people that are getting killed that he's saying. It's like, I can't even comprehend that.
Do that.
Part, folks. So it was reverse text 100%. The technology. Obviously, we've got some black hot projects, but whatever they're funding it, probably using the technology they've got, trafficking these people.
I used to say, if I hear AI one more time, I'm going to lose it. But
So it sounds like it was hovering above that ramp. Do you get the same thing from that description?
Monday.com is super
That could give clues as to where this was heading, maybe an underground facility, an underwater facility, or something like that. Did he say the West Coast, East Coast? I don't want to go back, just put it in the chat. Did he say East or West Coast? Because then we can look at that maybe at a later date and try and work out where this potentially was going and where these are being, and match it up with the bases we already know or we already suspect, and see if we can find out where these children are potentially being held. Bringing you into the UFO world now. We've got one more to watch after this in a minute. I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and we're going to go on to the Jesse Michaels and Jake Barber one. And it's what Jake Barber says, which really angered me. It really did, because nobody did any content on it. And I've done about 2 or 3 videos on it. Like, nobody even talks about it. And Jesse should have asked more questions at that point. Are we back, folks? Right. I don't know what happened there, and that was weird. But I'm going to leave that one, and I'm going to go to this last video, because I don't know what happened there. I was just looking here, then I looked at my phone, and it said that you'd been thinking for violations. But yeah, I'm back on. I don't get it. Cool hat, Team Usain Giles. This is really cheap hat. If you haven't got this one, I don't really wear my good hats on stream. Maybe I should. I have fucking dozens and dozens over there. Right. I'm gonna get through this bit quick because I don't know what happened.
Of that thing that was connecting its soul or spirit to me as I was flying, or one of the worked both on the. It's used both on the summoning side and the data collection side.
So you're saying humans summon these UAPs?
Humans. There are 2 types of summoning that
Right, pay attention to this. This is what really angered me.
That can be done that we've proven works and we're still working with. There's machine-based summoning systems and there's man-based summoning systems. Machine-based summoning systems are, without going into detail.
Am I muted? I'm not muted. What is this lip reading stream? Right, 1 minute. Right, you can hear me. So what I was saying was, it's never happened to me before. I don't know what's happened. Maybe there's a part of it that might get clipped out or I might have to take out, but it will be uploaded. The comments that I've got in this live so far won't be on the video when it's uploaded. So if you please drop back to the live and just drop a comment saying I watched it, it was brilliant, the best thing since sliced bread. That would really help. Just so it gets a bit more traction, because I don't just want you to see it, I want other people to come and watch this. I like to be engaging with you, but the fact they took it off, you were muted, your mic is on, no thank you. No, the mic was on, so I don't know why it muted me for that bit. That was a copyright check, but they allow the footage to be used, but it's copyrighted. Which, see, it was Sean Ryan. Now, Sean Ryan has said you can do whatever you want with his footage. He actually did it, he actually did a video on it saying, please just clip my videos as much as you want. So I shouldn't get any copyright for that. So I will appeal that, because Sean Ryan allows people to do content. I only shared, about 8 minutes of his interview there, from like a 2 or 3 hour interview and stuff like that. With, and it's part of a video that I'm building here to show you a pattern.
Details are signals, and energy systems that can be turned on or activated, that summon.
But this is the last time I'm going to speak. I'm going to play this in entirety in a minute. So I do not like this guy. I do not trust this guy. There's something about this guy, and when he speaks about these in a minute, it just put me right off him.
And UAP activity, or that UAP are attracted to. And I say, again, remembering what UAP means, it's a very broad term. It's unidentified anomalous phenomenon. So unidentified anomalous shit shows up. That's a pretty broad category. Now, in order to be effective at serving as a PA, you can think of consciousness as a field. Don't think of it as this superficial woo-woo thing. Like, it's literally like the World Wide Web. It's like the internet. It's always there. We can't see it. It's full of information and exciting things, but point to it. I don't see it here.
Yep.
Right? So where is it? You have to be able to tap into it. You need something like a Wi-Fi signal to get there. So individuals that have this gift are people that have been trained and have the talent to serve as a Wi-Fi to tap into the consciousness field where everything in the universe seems to exist or have its presence. And once you can do that,
I know I lost like 80 odd watchers now, because it was at 170, 180, just touching 180 it was.
You're in an environment where, while we're having other multiple forms of sensor data in place, if a UAP shows up, is it registering in the consciousness field that our PA asset is connected to through the Wi-Fi? And the Wi-Fi is this process of getting into mindful meditation. So two things are happening in that process or protocol of serving as a PA. Lowering intellect, increasing intuition, and then reintroducing intellect at a higher level as an observer, not as a driver.
Their reality, an effect that more of a mind over matter effect.
Through consciousness, they
in life. Most AI plugins do all the work for you. This one works with you. Meet CodeProducer, a plugin that finds.
I'm skipping it to the part I want you to thingy, and then I'll try and keep this at an hour. An hour's live. We've got like 5 minutes to go before we get to that part.
And getting them involved is just to add a 6th, 7th, 8th piece of equipment. So when this phenomenon shows up, does the random number generator in here move when it also shows up on IR over our radar? So it's not like we're going off the deep end. Our whole world is all about psionics and remote viewing. It's not.
No, it's literally correlating with an observable. You're getting on another, and multi-sensory corroboration is what you're looking for in any sort of scientific process.
And it works the other way. sometimes the intent is to have the psionic assets summon the phenomenon, and the rest of the equipment is turned down, and then because we want to be able to isolate where we're having successes. So they ramp up, they activate, they summon, they invite it in, and then the rest of the equipment becomes measuring for their summoning effort. And so, yeah.
So it sounds like the U.S. government has used kids as psionic assets.
Here we go. So from this part in, Jesse should have pressed this. This should have been another 20-minute conversation, in my opinion, at least.
And does that bother you at all?
That bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does bother me.
Do you have a model of what these crafts are and what's inside of them?
Well, interestingly enough, this particular craft, the 8-gon, is exactly what Michael Herrera reports to have seen in Indonesia.
It's the one time I've ever heard this brought up, that account. And it's matte black, like you described. He calls it phantom black, and he says it has 8, like an octagonal shape.
Yeah, so I heard Michael Herrera's story in Washington, D.C. There was in 2020.
JC, you mustn't know who I am, but you can't troll me, you absolute little wet wipe. You effing moron. Can you comment again, please? It does help the engagement, please. And if you could put a little kiss at the end as well when you're trying to troll me, that would help as well. Come on.
I believe there was a whistleblower conference shortly after the Whistleblower Protection Act got activated, and then there was this at the National Press Club hosted by Stephen
Please, everybody,
Brenner.
forgive JC as daddy issues.
There were several whistleblowers that had decided to come forward in that environment and share their stories. So we were actually sent there on behalf of our employer.
You know what will happen, Highlander. You know what will happen. I'll bring my TikTok attitude to YouTube, and that guy will be crying back to his mummy's little breast milk.
To look for whistleblowers that we were trying to basically report to the FBI and get arrested, because at that time I was in this weird place between becoming a whistleblower or rounding up the whistleblowers and shutting them up, because there were good reasons and bad reasons to be a whistleblower. And so
you were at this press event red teaming, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
You are trying to maybe gather intel on people who might become a liability for the program, and you hear Michael Herrera give his testimony.
Yeah, and I wasn't prepared for that. So
I'm sorry, because you had already seen the 8-gon.
Yes.
And then he talked about what you had experienced firsthand.
Yes.
And then
he's getting up there, and everyone's like, "This guy's full of shit."
Well, his was the craziest testimony from that. And so basically, this guy is saying, in 2009, he's deployed with his Marine unit to the Philippines. Then a small part of that Marine unit, like 8 or 9 people, get actually moved off to Indonesia. Is this right?
Yes.
And there's a 7 Richter scale earthquake that had just occurred in the area, so it's a disaster zone.
This is good. We're going to want to go over this.
You reminded me of your mum then, JC. That's what she said last night.
Whole thing. Keep going.
And he sees this 8-gon, octagon-shaped craft, matte black. He describes it as like blacker than black, and it's hovering above the treetops. And his unit starts to close in because he's like, "What is this thing?"
Yeah.
And there's a humming sound around it, so not a traditional engine.
Yeah.
And as they're sort of moving
Fairy
towards
fruitcake.
it,
I'm drinking
what he
Dead Man's
describes
Finger.
as this elite, possibly
Dead Man's Finger, which is what your dad gave you when you were younger, apparently.
Department of Energy paramilitary unit with technical gear out the wazoo comes and apprehends he and his team.
Yeah.
And they have bioscanners and they have all sorts of technical gear. They're threatening this team of Marines, and they're saying it's easy to get lost in the jungle, right?
Yeah.
They were actually 2 of the guys.
This is the last time I'm going to reply to him. You sound gay for the rest of your lives. Lives. Fucking hell, he's just fucked himself up there, hasn't it? Lives. It's life, you Remploy. Google Remploy and then see if they can get you some work.
We're actually talking about either, hey, should we smoke these guys right now? You know, that's what they kept saying. It was kind of feeding more into the fear at that point because, again, I don't know who these guys are. I know they had American gear. They had American sidearms as well.
I don't know if he's vaccinated, but he's definitely had a few pricks.
If these guys have actually taken an oath like we have, and then why they're going against people like us and even willing to kill servicemen who just even stumbled onto this, it just blows my mind, and it's very sick.
And so Michael Herrera comes back to the U.S. He's shocked. He actually does a little bit of press around this because he's like, this is ridiculous that this is being hid to the American public. And then somebody back channels to him from the program and says, actually, the reason that that elite squad was there and they were there next.
You don't look like a real man, you cross-eyed twat. When your eyes are that cross-eyed, when you cry, your tears roll down your back.
Next to that craft is because they were transferring psionic assets for the program.
Yeah.
And so this was a human trafficking operation where they were taking people, putting them in pods, loading them onto these craft, and then that craft was taking them back to the U.S. for use.
We back channeled.
He's been shot over more times than Hamas him.
That was us. We back channeled that.
That was
information.
you.
That was me.
Oh my God.
So when that happened,
So, sorry, he's just said that the team that Michael Herrera came across was him.
we were able to.
Sorry, trying to banter and get you to the information in under an hour, which I failed at. I'm 2 minutes over.
Corroborate at least three key things. One, that those type of paramilitary units do exist because guys from our group get recruited and offered jobs to go exercise our skills elsewhere outside the U.S. I have never done it. I've never been part of those teams. The other thing is the description of the craft is exactly what I had seen before and my team had seen before, except he claimed this one was like 300 feet in diameter. Never seen one that big. The other thing were the containers. He described the containers at the time as being used for transporting drugs. He was just speculating. He wasn't lying, but he assumed that they were there, must have been transporting drugs because he saw these units on the roofs. Well, those units were, those units that they used are consistent with the workstations we use when we're out on the range. They're mini split HVAC systems that are used up there because, as I explained, that's where we have our data observation team in those, and most of the time those are the Faraday cages for the psionic assets. We also know that that there are operations OCONUS outside the continental United States where prospecting for psionic assets takes place, and they're highly coveted. And the interesting thing is I hear in those programs that there's something valuable about the life experience in third world countries, in that it seems as though
you don't want to be my British boyfriend. I would ruin you. I would leave your ass like a wizard's sleeve. I would use you and then I'd throw you to the side. And then you'd keep coming back to my videos wanting more, and I wouldn't even... I want you to reach out to me so I can ignore you. I want you to send me a friend request so I can ignore you. Just accept you fancy me. That's why you're always in my lives. That's why you hide your face. You live behind that J letter for jackass.
people that live a simpler life and are outdoors more and have less contaminants in their food and their drugs and in their culture seem to be a little bit better at disassociating and heightening their intuition.
So he's just said there, so these people in more remote areas are more at one with nature and stuff, and they can potentially be connect more with these, whatever this phenomenon is that they're trying to summon.
And they come willingly because of the economic imbalance.
So talking about the children, they come willingly because they're in a bad area. They want to come and they get fed and watered. That's what really angered me. It's like they're looked after. Well, obviously you'd expect that, but where are they? They all can't be psionic ability people, right? What are they used for then? Is it organ harvesting? Is it something more sinister, or is it, do they get jobs later on down the line, or do they get where are they?
Between where they come from. So what I really don't like about how that came out, and when Sean Ryan was there at the time with us in DC.
Yeah, you won't talk to me because you just had your ass handed to you on a live, and this is going up and this will be posted, and forever you will be a daft twat.
When this happened and we talked about this, shortly after that is when Herrera went on his show, and the thing took a kind of a dark turn because the term human trafficking was slapped on this thing. And
See, he's trying to defend it here. This is why I really went against Jake Barber. Now, you can agree with me, disagree with me, just let me know in the comments, but I don't agree. I think he's trying to defend this in a way, saying it was for psionics. Could he be covering it up? Because we've heard that it's adrenochrome from 2 people, right? And now we're hearing it's Michael Herrera didn't say anything about psionics or adrenochrome, but Jake Barber's now saying it's for psionics. Are they trying to cover their ass? What sounds better to the public, that this is adrenochrome or this is for psionics?
when you hear that, you think of slavery and sex trafficking and all these things. And it's my understanding that's not at all what goes on in these operations. It's no different than someone setting up any other type of business, and the people come willingly. The people that work in these programs, it's a great job. It's fun. Some of them have known their whole life that they have this intuition or this special talent, and they're socially awkward or have other pathologies, social pathologies that they're dealing with too, that somehow seems like it plays into this. So it's like, not all the people that are talented in this way are normal in every other way. It's like God created some balance. So when they can come in and get involved in this program and have food and shelter and be treated with respect and
trying to defend it, it's really winding me up. I'm getting food, the shelter, trying to react. You know what I mean? Take JC, leave the kids. Come and take JC, that little wet wipe that should have been wiped on a curtain. Come and get him. Don't be taking these kids. Come and get what's his name? JC Vasti got fucking, even his mum and dad gave up on the name.
Make money. Like if you went down there on your high horse representing the United States and morality and went in and tried to liberate these people, they'd be like, get out of here. We don't want to be liberated. This is our job.
Can I play?
So now we're saying that if people actually went in to go and save these, they'd be like, oh no, you're not saving us. We like being fucking tortured. We like being put in fight or flight mode, which he said earlier on. Did you hear it?
Devil's advocate for 1 second. I think in the Michael Herrera testimony, he thought that
back in a sec,
whatever organization this paramilitary group was from was taking advantage of the fact that Indonesia was this disaster zone.
Right.
And some of these people could go missing easily.
Yes.
And so that, to me, sounds
that's
a little
one
more...
theory. Or the hurricane, the natural disaster was actually threatening a workspace for this operation, and they needed to get the hell out of Dodge.
Got it.
I have no firsthand experience with that operation, nor direct contact with anyone involved with it. I know of that type of operation. I know of that craft. I know of those containers. And I know of operations that sounded like. And so the whole point of all this, and let me put a big giant red bow on it for you, is that this was one, I saw a good Marine up there when I saw Mike. I saw a brother in arms doing his best to be put now with a microphone in his face in a fucking suit and tie in Washington, D.C. when he's cut out to be carrying a saw through the jungle. And now he's doing his best, and he's an honest, good guy, and I wasn't going to let him hang. So I sidebarred Greer and a bunch of other people.
Do you believe him? Do you believe Jake Barber? Do you trust what he's saying? Do you trust him? Oh no, everybody will know your norm 10. You can't even spell, pal. What the fucking hell? I'm having a fucking stroke trying to read your comments. I think I'm going to listen to you. Yes, I think so. You believe him, Narina? Do you think he's telling the truth? Is that what he's speaking to someone else there? Oh, no, he's speaking to Highlander. He's definitely defending it. He's defending it, yeah. This is what's really annoying me.
Said we need to talk about this.
Don't be starting with Stephen Gray. On the last live I spoke about third phase of the moon. Why would you link up with third phase of the moon? Honestly, that's like a nursery linking up with Jimmy Savile. You just don't... What the fuck?
I thanked Michael. And I have been loyal to him throughout the process and trying to help him as much as I can get support for this, while also trying to stay low key to figure out where the problems and landmines are with this issue. And
right, let's stop there. So let's go to the finger. Right, so we've got your comments here. Let's get this on. Give me a sec, folks. Your comments on the screen a minute. Right, so the live's going to go. I'm finished with the live now. I've shown you the videos. What do you think of the videos so far? So, do you understand? You're new to this with the trafficking side of it and the connection with the UFO stuff. Have I explained it enough? Would you like me to do a second part? Because there is loads more that I can go into with this. If you want me to do a part 2, I can do, and I probably will do a part 2 anyway, and a part 3, 4, 5, and 6. Because until people wake up on this, we're gonna have to keep picking out. Because there'll be more people that come out. There'll be more people that speak about this, and I'll have to keep covering it. So David Icke, Jim Caviezel, Michael Herrera, Jake Barber. I could have even spoke about Phil Schneider, right? I could have gone into that, but that's a long, an hour and a bit one. I might just do a separate one of that. He speaks about adrenochrome as well. He was probably one of the earliest ones that spoke about it. Linda Moulton Howe spoke about it, but I don't trust a lot of the stuff she speaks about because she's infiltrated with Richard Doty. I'm trying to read some of your comments. Hail Satan. Speaking of Hail Satan, I am reaching out to Eamon. I want to interview him. It's made me want it more after watching the Polarity interview. I've reached out to Polarity as well. Josh, you better reply to me. I want his contact. I'm going to come over to wherever you're living now and have a drink with you. Yeah, let's do another part, please. Yeah, we can do. Who would like to see me and Kyle do a co-host live, and me and Kyle go through some of these Russian documents? Now, these Russian documents, you can't go through them all because they've got a plan to go on Ross Coulthard, him and I think it's Jean, or him and Louise, I can't remember. But we know a lot about this Russian document stuff as well, and we can go through a little bit of it on our channel and like try and condense it. So I've condensed this hopefully in an hour's worth of stuff where you can see, right, how the trafficking, when someone says to you now, how does child trafficking connect to the UFO topic, you can say, right, if you don't know, you just send them to this live and say, watch this live, it connects the dots. And then from this live, you will go away and you'll find loads more. And you'll be like, holy shit, it's a minefield, man, a minefield. And that's what I want you to do. It's a shame the live went down, man. I was like 180, holding 180 people, which is good for my channel size. The percentages were good there. TikTok smacked my bum. We'll see when I end this live what has happened, whether I've been demonetized on it, whether it's copyright or whatever, whether I have to cut a bit out or something like that. I don't know. But I do work full time. This isn't my full time job, so don't worry. I don't rely on this as an income. I get off my ass and I go to work every day. I'm in work tomorrow morning. Yes, Narina wants it. Yes, as much as possible, please, even after the Ross event. Yeah, I'll try and do 2 or 3 lives a week then, because it seems like lives I could get somewhere with lives as well as videos. I think that's how Josh did it as well. Sometimes you got to watch other people how they do things. Josh got quite big doing the lives. They enjoyed his lives, and he's at the other side of the world. So if his time difference is different to mine, we don't overlap each other. We don't step on each other's feet, and we cover the same time. Me and Josh are very similar as well, by the way. Our personalities are quite. I'm probably I'm older than Josh, so I've been researching a lot longer than him. But I can't wait to actually get on a live with him and me and him have a chat, and we could go balls deep on some shit. Yeah, let me have a look. Yeah, he's playing for the other team. Who's playing for the other team? This guy, Jake Barber. What would you like me to cover though? Like, I want to do the Russian stuff with Kyle, or do a Russian series and go through it and stuff like that, and break it down in maybe half hour, 20-minute videos, maybe over 10 videos or something. Or you want to cover some of the old stuff? I like covering old stuff, but I also want to keep it concurrent. Like this covered some old stuff and some not so. I could have gone really far back with this. I could have gone into 80s and 90s videos with Wendell Stevens and John Lear, where they spoke about adrenochrome and stuff, and then come to this type of fucking. That makes it even more compelling when you've got so many mouths. That's what I mean. You've got so many people talking about it. It works well. We can ask questions and get good answers. Yeah. I don't know what that playing for another team is. Is that JCV gone? I missed him. I miss you. Come back again, please. Where were my moderators, by the way? My moderators, you should have been all over that, like blocking his messages. But you know not to, because you know I love a troll. Series might be better. So much in the Russian docs. Yeah, I agree. There's something else. What else was we talking about, Kyle? For a live, there was something else we spoke about before. 2027, how it's connected. Kyle's done a lot of research on that. See, Kyle does a lot of research. He does a lot of using the AI stuff and that. messaging me all the time. He messages me more than my missus, I'll be honest with you. But I can't always be free to read his stuff. But luckily, I'm quite well read, so I'm very quick at catching up with what he said, because I've usually come across a lot of the stuff that he's talking about. But I think a live, we'll do it for you. We'll get it in. Yes, Mr. Barber, I figured that. Didn't Jake say they were given jobs such as... Did he say they were given jobs? I don't remember him saying they were given jobs, but where are they? These kids have been going missing since the 50s, 60s, 70s, in the millions. Like, I'll tell you what I'll do for you. Just stay there. I'm going to show you some stats, right? I've done this in a previous live. I'm going to show you again. Check this out. Right, so, are you ready for this? So, precise global figures for missing children are difficult to calculate due to under-reporting and inconsistent data. So, under-reporting means these figures are less than what they are reported to be. But estimates suggest up to 8 million children are reported missing worldwide annually. Annually, for JC, that means year. Okay, JC? Get a paper and a crayon and write that down. High numbers are reported in the US, 460,000 children in the United States of America, 100,000 children in Germany, 96,000 in India, and the UK, 113,000 a year, with over 250,000 reported in Europe alone. So we're going to go through these numbers here. Kenya, just over 7,000, Russia, 33,000 to 45,000, Australia, 20 to 37,000, Canada, 45,000, Europe 250, United Kingdom 69 to 113, India 83,000 to 96, and Germany 100,000. United States for I'm from the UK. 69,000 to 113,000 children reported missing annually. Now some of them are found, obviously, but a lot of them are not as well. Those are insane numbers. And when you go into it and you break it down, everything like that, it's insane, and it's like it's happening right underneath our nose, and it's not being reported. Insane, absolutely fucking insane, people. Do John Lear. You want me to do a John Lear? Yeah, we could do John Lear. We can get a John Lear one. The UFO jet crash, the Chinese balloon launch days after, and the US shooting 3 objects down the next week. Is that when you got into the UFO topic? Is that what you were saying? Right, what we'll do is I'll put a post up on my community, and you give me recommendations for videos that you want me to cover and stuff like that. Now, be mindful, I know a lot of content creators have covered a lot of stuff like that, so try and give me something different, something that's unique, something that stands out. I do what I do, Bill Cooper, but there's one that I can't even find the interview I want. It's so rare. It's like, if you can help me, right? So it's Bill Cooper, and he's being interviewed by a big, stocky American guy with a big white beard, and I cannot remember the name of that guy. It's from the early 90s, 80s, I think it was, something like that. Not 90s. It was like it was like a farmer thing from big, stocky, massive, bearded American guy, white beard, interviewing Bill Cooper. I really want to watch that live on a live reviews, because that is a good one. Where it goes in about the UFOs, where they don't get wet, because it sort of pushes the water, distorts the thing around it. So it goes in dry, comes out dry. That's why it can go through insane speed through the ocean, because whatever it does through the ocean, it's just the same as going through the sky and space. It just distorts the thing around it, so it doesn't matter where it is. It goes wherever it is with the same speed. Find me that. Drop that in my... If you can't get hold of me on YouTube for whatever reason, I do get back to all my comments on YouTube, so I'm very easy to reach on YouTube. I'm probably easier to reach on YouTube than I'm on TikTok at the minute, because I get that many messages on TikTok. How many Chinese balloons were shot down in February 2023? 1 or 4? I'm not sure. There was one video. I know there was one video of one shot down. It'd have been interesting to see how Trump would have dealt with that if he'd have been in power and not Biden. It would have been very interesting to see how Trump dealt with that, because Trump's not kept to his word with what he was going to release with the drones. And we still no wiser what really happened there. And we have this film coming out in June, the Spielberg one. And I think the thing that he's going to show him. I think when's Super Bowl? Is Super Bowl in February? That'll be when the next trailer will be. I'm guessing. They always show the big the big trailers at the Super Bowl, don't they? So I think Spielberg will have his next trailer there. I think it's going to be something to do with AI, that's going to be a part of the thing that it's part of the 7 billion people. 7 billion people flip phones. People are saying, is it early 2000s? I don't know. Myrtle Beach. There's a list of kids' names, ages, and blood type, and the camps they were at. Yeah, blood types. Bloods are a thing. So, I know quite a bit about the rhesus negative stuff, and the rhesus negative. Women primarily know that they're rhesus negative. So you ever do a video, which I've done on YouTube and TikTok, and it had like 2 million views, and nearly 99% of the comments were women, to the point where I ended up creating a WhatsApp group at the time for the women, leaving them to it eventually, where they were talking about their eyes morphing. They have psychic abilities. They have more. What you'll notice if you're rhesus negative, you'll have more static electricity. So when you touch things, you'll get electric shocks because of the copper or something in your body and stuff like that. You're like an antenna. See yourself as more of an antenna, and you're more susceptible to things that may be trying to get into you and stuff like that. I was watching something the other day that our brains, we don't actually think we are getting sent these thoughts are coming from somewhere else. That fucking did me in. It's like, I'm not thinking this. Something's coming here and giving me this thought, and how it's insane. Super Bowl is February the 9th. Okay, so that is. I'm going to make a prediction. So that's a Monday. So Monday the 9th, is that right? Monday the 9th is going to be when the new Stephen Gray trailer drops. And you heard that here first. I'm telling you now, that's where the next trailer is going to be. The camps have been closed down now, I believe. Yes, that's huge numbers. So they were huge numbers. Those are crazy ass numbers. When people actually see that written down, they're thinking, it's right under our fucking nose. But what you have to work out is, so you got them hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. It's just you think about it. So January we'll go here, take the children. They might take like 100 children from the UK, 100 children from the United States, 100 children from Indonesia, 100 children from there. And they just do that every week around the world, taking it. And how many people actually know? How many people actually fucking care? Right under our fucking nose, people, and no one's talking about it. Please feel free to clip some of this live and share it on your old social medias and stuff like that. I don't mind. If you've got children, they should hit home to you. Said policy violation. Yeah, but let me back up, so mustn't have been too harsh. Let me see what my studio says. Let me have a look. See if it's been demonetized. Live. Oh, it's still monetized. What really annoyed me is we've got 75 people watching now, but we had 180 people consistently before, and that was really annoying me. And that's good averages for on the 10k channel. When you work it up on averages, like you see Polarity now, he has like between 1,000 and 2,000 people for his channel. That's growing that number down. That's where mine should be at then. I'm overachieving, judging off a channel like Polarity or something like that. I would say vetted, but I prefer Polarity. Yeah, and this will be uploaded. Please drop a comment. That really does help. Like, tell me if you hate the live, because I obviously rip the shit out of you. Please come and drop a comment, and we'll have an argument on that. If you just please drop a comment, that's all I ask. That means you are right on target. Keep up the good work. I don't know if it means I'm right on target, but it was at the point where I was saying that Jake Barber speaks, before I even get to Jake Barber, they cut it off. But it could be that there was a part in that where I wasn't allowed to share it with Sean Ryan, I don't know. But Sean Ryan, I know for a fact, did a video saying he wants people to share clips of his content. He said this a couple of years back, so he hasn't got a problem. He likes people sharing his clips. Right, folks. I'm gonna go now because I've been on an hour and 26 minutes longer than I wanted to. So, as always, keep your eyes to the skies, as the next story could be yours. But please, use this video, share it, and look into it even more. There is a connection with the UFO phenomena and the trafficking operations that go on this planet. For whatever reason, when we find out, it's going to probably upset a lot of people on this planet. So, as always, good night, God bless, and I will see you on the next one.